We're judging the world and seeing what sucks. We're reviews versus the world.
Pretty. But, like, it's actually not a very good plot. This is pretty.
I was going to say, I think you'd actually be okay with Daredevil, because a lot of the violence happens. Actually, 90% of that series happens in the dark, so.
Yeah, but the violence implied can be pretty rough.
No
I
violence,
know...
implied violence.
Between, bowling balls and car doors.
Ew.
Car doors.
No.
Well, that one wasn't so much implied as
And with the bowling ball, like, he breaks the dude's arm in that.
Was it a piece of rebar all in the same episode?
Well, just skip that episode. Which coincidentally probably has the most amount of plot. Anyways.
Yeah.
That is...
Anyway.
Now that I think about it, Daredevil has more plot per violence.
More plot per violence.
More significant plot per violence.
Daredevil is to violence as Game of Thrones is to sex scenes.
Right.
Pretty much.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good...
Okay, so is everybody...
Well, I don't think there are any brothers and sisters fighting in Daredevil.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, and there's your zinger to start the episode.
Do you want there to be?
No! Against any kind of sibling problems of any nature.
Okay, are we recording right now?
Yeah,
Have we been recording is the question.
Alright, I guess I should do this.
Oh, dear.
Well, to answer your question, I've actually hidden mics on everybody in this room, so you're always recording.
It's your son, isn't it?
Yep.
Every time he touches you.
That's what he does.
Knew it.
Mic activation.
Some people have really cool superpowers. Mine places mics in people by touching them.
Wow. That is
Don't let it go
He's
places
about
where
to
it
tell us
doesn't
about
need
his
to.
internship.
I hope, when you say mic, I hope you mean microphones.
Yeah, a little guy named Mike.
Wow. Okay.
We don't
wow.
need Nate, we have me.
Wow. Wow.
All right, everybody.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Reviews versus the World. We are here to record a podcast. We are Reviews versus the World and Reviews versus the Podcast. In today's episode, Reviews versus Halloween.
Oh, so scary.
I practiced that for 10 minutes today.
Over and over again. I got this.
And today we are talking about our favorite Halloween traditions. There's nothing that is off the table today. We're talking about anything spooky. We are talking about our favorite Halloween pastimes. These include Halloween specials, favorite cartoons, musicals, video games, board games, movies, and TV shows, and anything else that we can think of that we particularly enjoy in this season of Halloween. So today we have our wonderful cast joining us. And watch out that you don't bump into her in the middle of the full moon, lest you prepare to deal with hair and teeth and dangerous appetite. Emily!
That's me every day, so... Pretty accurate.
I'm all about hair and teeth and appetite.
Don't call for mother when you see him, because under his wraps and 1,000 years of Egyptian dust, he will answer Brady!
Ooh.
Are mummies basically like zombies? Like, do they also go for brains, but they're wrapped up?
I think they also have magical powers.
There's zombies with a fashion sense.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
There you go.
You won't see him, you won't even hear him, but he can see you if he were here, Nate!
So, fun fact, Nate is not actually here.
Or maybe he is.
What? Actually, he's not.
Feel your lap.
I was actually just really...
Someone's sitting there.
I was just really happy with the introduction and didn't want it to go to waste.
Practice this for hours, guys.
Oh, wait. Do I have yours? No.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there you go. Okay, never mind. I thought I lost one.
Whose feelings are going to get hurt?
Don't go fishing with him around, though he will drag you underwater, deep into the darkness with his gills. He is the creature. He is John.
It's a long drive from the Black Lagoon. My commute is awful.
He'll only enter when you invite him in, and then he'll hypnotize you under the cover of night and bleed you dry. Steven!
Blah, blah,
Wow, you sound like my last girlfriend.
Oh.
That's why I called for this.
Oh!
Steven, you've never had a girlfriend.
And now I'll be your storyteller of all things ghoulish. My name is Aldo.
Ooh.
So
I don't know why I'm howling at everything.
You're Vincent Price.
Yeah.
Anybody thriller? Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun.
I was actually gonna do
grandson Jody.
I was gonna do Thriller for somebody, but I didn't want them to feel special.
Oh no, I would have run away in fear. That's one thing that actually is scary every time to me. Bad effects and all. It's really scary. Yeah.
Anyways, before we get started with the podcast, I will be the guy running everything today. And truth be told, I hate Halloween. I hate the season, costumes, tired and lazy stories, horror movies, jump scares, gore, and the depressing nature of pretty much everything about it. However, every once in a while, there comes something along that I really like, something that particularly charms me, and I think a lot of people that kind of turns the Halloween from being about gore and violence into being about something better.
Family?
I mean, sure, but you have Thanksgiving. So people care about that, right? So that's kind of what we're here to talk about. We're kind of here to talk about some of the best parts of the season of the holiday. Unless, you do like horror movies like Freddy and Jason and all that stuff, which I'm not fond of, but whatever. To each their own. But before we get started into the kind of the greatness of Halloween, let's talk about what some of the nerdy things we've been into over the last month. Let's go ahead and start off with Steven, who's to my immediate left.
Yes, I am to Aldo's immediate left. So, been into a lot of nerdy stuff this month. I've actually had to think really hard about what I wanted to talk about because I've done so much. You might remember, if you listened to last month's podcast, John and I attended the Salt Lake ComicCon.
Yeah.
I picked up roughly $400 worth of comics.
Yeah.
So I've been reading. One of my big goals has been to catch up on some of the classics of the superhero genre. So I've been reading Walt Simonson's run on Thor, which is repeatedly been said to be the best run on any superhero comic ever. I've read the first 2 volumes, which includes the introduction of Beta Ray Bill, the space alien cyborg who is also a Thor, who looks like a horse, and is therefore the best comic book character ever created.
And is so good at being Thor that he was he was given his own hammer to be a...
Yeah, he was better at being Thor than Thor was for a little bit. He's great. I've also been reading a lot of classic X-Men stories. John turned me on to a podcast called Rachel and Miles Explain the X-Men, in which 2 people just go through the entire history of the X-Men and explain every plot that ever happened. I have listened to all 75 episodes in the last month.
Wow.
And they have made it up to the 1980s. So they've got a ways to go still.
There's so much retconning and stuff.
This sounds like something I need to be into.
It's amazing.
Good. They're really good.
They're
it's
really
a husband
good.
and wife. They know their stuff. They acknowledge when something is bad. They love it all, whatever. And
Well, I think that's really important when you love something, is you need to be able to see how terrible it can be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Of course, their podcast isn't as good as ours, right? Right?
When you love something, Brady.
Speaking of Walt Simonson, sorry, I had tweeted this a long time ago, and I just wanted to bring it up. This is one of my favorite panels in comics ever. It's Thor, and he's saying, "By the bristling beard of Odin, the noble Iron Man hath fallen. I must hasten to my comrade's side swiftly, lest he be, Heimdall's eyes, 'tis not possible." It's the most ridiculous dialogue. I love it so much. But
Speaking of ridiculous dialogue, the other classic comic that I've been reading has been Chris Claremont's X-Men.
Oh, beautiful.
Which is where the Dark Phoenix saga comes from. It's where Days of Future Past comes from. Almost every amazing X-Men storyline that has ever been turned into a movie came from Chris Claremont. And his dialogue is insane.
It's a soap opera.
Well,
it's
what brought us like the best of the Kurt Wagner.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wait. So you're telling me that Brett Ratner didn't come up with the Dark Phoenix idea by himself?
I would argue that Brett Ratner did not come up with the Dark Phoenix idea at all. I mean, I've seen X-Men Black, and that, sir, is no Dark Phoenix.
No.
So anyway, that's what I've been into.
Cool. Brady, what have you been into this last month?
I have been into, a lot of TV, but before I get into that, I've been getting ready for my review of Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. And in doing that, I've been re-listening to the Stormlight Archives, which is The Way of Kings and Words of Radiance. And guys, if you want a good book, and you have a lot of time, read the Stormlight Archives. They are masterpieces. Basically, just give a little bit of background of kind of what the story's about. So it basically takes place in this world of Roshar that's constantly hit with these storms that basically destroy absolutely everything, and they've had to basically adapt to the storms and build their homes in a way that they can survive it. And there's these magical things that kind of happen in the background, and there's these magical swords that can basically cut through anything, including somebody's soul. Dun dun dun. And
That sounds like a Wolverine plot.
and like you can make, and the swords appear if, you know, after 10 heartbeats. So basically, like, if you're in the middle of battle and your heart is racing, then you can get that magical sword faster. But yeah, it's really, really interesting, and just the character work is wonderful. My personal favorite character is a character named Dalinar, who's basically this general brother of the king who was always a drunk and kind of a horrible person, and then when his brother is assassinated by this guy with magical powers, he basically tries to turn his life around and live by the old codes. And just his character development is wonderful. I highly recommend it to everybody, and you'll find out a lot more when I get my review out, hopefully in this next week or so. But also, like I mentioned, I've been watching a lot of TV, guys. The new season is upon us, and we've had a lot of great shows, but mostly we've had a lot of crap. So let me save you some time. If you are looking for a new show to watch, and you see that lineup, and you see Heroes Reborn on there, you might be tempted. But no. Just no. Do not do it.
Yeah, fool me twice. Not going to happen again.
Chuck will not save the series for you. Alright. Also, if you're tempted by Minority Report, you think, that was a decent movie, you know, the Tom Cruise, and no. Just no. Don't do it.
Now, you had a problem with the movie because of one little plot point, I remember.
I had many problems with the movie.
Oh, I thought it was just hinging on that one.
My favorite review was about Minority Report was we'll just try to make a series about this thing we tried to convince you in 2 hours I was wrong.
Yeah, pretty much. I made it through 2 episodes of that, because I'll give anything 2 episodes, and I'm never going back. But that being said, there's actually been some good surprises. The Grinder is
that's one where I was
wonderfully
like,
fun show.
I'd like this to be good, but I don't think it will be. It's good?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Well, it's basically Rob Lowe plays an actor who played a lawyer on TV for several years, and his show ends, and so he decides to kind of retire from acting, and he goes home to his hometown where he finds his brother, who is an actual lawyer, and he basically decides to kind of take over his firm using his lawyer knowledge from playing a lawyer on TV for many years. And hilarity ensues.
You're a crook, Captain Hook. Judge, won't you throw the book?
Yeah, maritime law.
So, you know, I heard good things about Grindr, and I gave it a try, and I just decided that it wasn't for me. And then I realized that I should have been going with Tinder, not Grindr.
You made the joke I wanted to make!
Ruh-roh.
Yes!
It's like you see these coming, and you can't
do anything.
Stop.
I was waiting for it. I was like, if somebody doesn't do it.
Let me in.
Another show that you should actually check out, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Yeah?
Surprisingly, it is hilarious. It's a musical, and the music is very clever.
Okay.
It's Flight of the Conchords level of cleverness with its lyrics.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
And it's a lot of fun, and I did not expect to like it at all, but I heard from one of my favorite TV critics that he really enjoyed it, so I gave it a shot, and man, I loved it. And other than that, I hope that you're watching Fargo Season 2, because it is amazing.
Okay. Good. John, what have you been into this last while?
Well,
it's nerdy. Let's wait a moment.
Well, I also went to Salt Lake ComicCon. Steven and I actually, we
buddied.
We would, try to find each other, and end up we were going to the same panel anyway. So that worked out. It was really cool. You know, I liked seeing the artists most of all. I was surprised about how many Funko figures there were and how
So
hard
much
it was.
Funko.
I wanted to buy all of them. There was a Ruby Rod from Fifth Element, and it took like all my willpower to be like, no, buy art, buy comics instead. That was really cool.
That's actually the thing that continuously disappoints me about Comic-Con is that
Yeah.
the amount of artists they have, I wish there would be more, and I wish there would be more actual comic book artists
Yeah.
and writers. But the few times that they have brought somebody I like this artist named John Tyler Christopher.
Uh-huh.
Fantastic artist. Does some of my favorite pieces, which are like these superheroes. He does the female superheroes, but like their costumes blend into the color of their costume is the background, so it blends into it.
Oh, I've seen. Okay.
Yeah. And I love him, and I sat down and talked to him for like an hour and a half, pretty much all 3 days of Comic-Con. He's an excellent fellow. But yeah.
That's like. I wish that they'd. My buddy was there. You should check him out on online. It's Timothy Anderson Art.
Mm-hmm.
He does posters and like a lot of really cool Star Wars stuff. He's doing 300 Days of Star Wars.
Oh, cool.
It's like Inktober on speed. And it's been really cool to watch. I think yesterday was Admiral Akbar, and it was amazing. But he was selling posters, and we kind of agreed that like there should be a higher bar for like Artist Alley. I think. Like, there should be, like, professional artists and not someone who's like, I made these things out of yarn, or like, I drew pictures out of crayons right here in front of you, and $20, please.
Here's my watercolor ponies.
Yeah.
Have them.
Yeah. So, I mean, nothing against anyone who makes watercolor ponies, but,
I was going to say, I'm really offended, so
not,
thanks for that.
you should give your booth up to someone in the industry. But loved the voice actors that were there. The Animaniacs were there.
Did you go to their live reading?
Yeah.
Oh, what did they do this year?
They did Harry Potter 2.
Yes!
Now, I only stayed for an hour of it, because it went on for 2 hours. And, like, so
part of the reason why...
It was good, but, like, it needs to, like... It doesn't really work as, like, a comedy bit. Billy West was talking about that. He's like, this is like, you're co-opting comedy... where it's just like they just kept going on and on. It's like if it's a bit, and there needs to be like a beginning, a middle, end, and have like a big punchline.
Yeah,
it was consistently funny and everything like that. But after a while, it was just like, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if they did it the same. So when I went last year, they did it in 2 days. The second showing for it was kind of an impromptu thing because the first day had sold out, and there had been such a huge line that couldn't go in.
Okay.
So they did it again the second day. I think they moved some other actor or so. Somebody like that was important. They moved them into like a smaller room.
Oh, jeez.
For these guys, so they gave them the big.
They gave them the biggest room.
Yeah, exactly. So they did that.
Yeah.
So the way they did it, please correct me. I hope they did it the same way. Was they went through like 3 sections of Harry Potter, and they gave them all like different voices to do.
Yeah.
And kind of at the end, which was like the end of the whole thing, they kind of made them all do their iconic voices. So at the end of the day, we had Voldemort being voiced as Winnie the Pooh, and that was at least
that's how it was.
Okay. And it kind of felt like at least that was the punchline, was the fact that they finished it doing.
They kind of started it with like their most famous voices.
Oh, that's no good.
So, but I mean, all of them have over a dozen
them,
each that they, like you could call their iconic voice, But it was still great, and I loved going to. Rob Paulson had his own podcast the night before, and opened it up with the Countries of the World song, and ended it with the additional countries that weren't around in the early 90s. Yeah. It was really, really great. I've also been doing Inktober, which is
I've seen those.
Yeah.
Those are so fun. I love.
Steven's been doing it too. It's always good to be like. It's like having a running buddy.
I wish I could like
It is
draw
helpful.
things.
Yeah. No, you don't have to be able to draw things to do
Oh,
Inktober.
no.
You should look at Inktober.
I literally no.
You should
just
look at
don't
DeviantArt.
You don't have to be able to draw to call yourself an artist.
You don't need to make decent cosplay in order to call yourself a cosplayer. Have a cosplay.
You just buy a
page.
Halloween costume.
There you go.
But yeah, that's I've been trying to do Halloween themed stuff and stuff that I like to draw and
Stuff.
Stuff.
Cool. Of course, my printer is messed up, and like I'll like draw something in like blue line, and then want to copy it, and then ink on the copy, so I still have the blue line,
Right.
Yeah.
so that like I'm not messing up my original drawing or whatever.
Right.
I think my pencils look a lot better. I'll do a post after showing
Please do so.
what happened before I messed them up. So. But yeah,
Emily, what have you been into?
My fiance and I. He's here. Say hello, Curtis.
hello, Curtis.
He's so well trained.
I like to pull him into things, but he doesn't want to be involved. So this is me giving him license to speak. So I love you. Anyway,
I could have been at home watching Star Wars again.
speaking of, he and I are watching all the Star Wars movies again in preparation
Well
for
done.
Force Awakens. We're
Oh
pretty
yeah,
excited about it.
I'm how many days sober? I don't know. No trailer. It
Oh,
was so
dude.
hard.
Congratulations.
It was so hard.
On the other hand, today this morning I watched the Mega trailer that will combine all the trailers.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, Monday Night Football, how many more people watch Monday Night Football for that big release of, like, the official big trailer
Oh, yeah.
than, like, ever?
They
It
broke
was
the
some
internet.
crazy number. Yeah,
I would watch
basically.
CNN if they put the trailer on.
Oh yeah. I'd watch Fox News. Well,
Oh, I would watch Bill O'Reilly if Bill O'Reilly said, I have an exclusive trailer. I'd be like, all right, Bill O'Reilly, you
But,
got me this time. Keep
So,
going.
we've been doing that. We saw a couple movies. We saw The Martian, which was really good. I love me some Matt Damon.
Which episode was
him all
that
day.
one?
Which episode was what?
The Martian.
The Martian? Not Star Wars. I've moved on.
Oh.
there was punctuation. In the over. Period. And then.
And then, I also saw Crimson Peak, which was kind of fun. Tom Hiddleston's really dreamy.
As
I
is
think
his
we
bum.
can all. Right, it's funny, because I was watching the movie, and I knew they were going to have sex, and then all of a sudden, whoop, there's his butt. And I'm like, okay, sure,
That
whatever.
was like half of their marketing. Come see Crimson Peak. Tom Hiddleston's bum will be in it. Also the rest of him. But his bum will be in there.
That's the selling point here.
It was.
and of course, because he's British, it's bum.
Yes.
Right, it's
Bum.
not butt, it's bum, I'm sorry.
It's to see him without his trousers.
Right, there
Yes.
you go.
And without his pants.
He knows.
And
catching
I've
what
been
you're
playing this game that a coworker of mine introduced me to called Hex Forever.
Oh jeez.
Have you played it?
No, my wife played something similar to that. It'll probably if
It's
she
like
hears about it.
it's like Tetris, but it's a hexagon, and it's super addicting. And like, it was stupid because I was working on something at work, and then I got bored, and I was talking about something, and my coworker Dave's like, "Here, try this game," and I play it every free chance I get. I'm watching a movie. I'm gonna play Hex Forever. Having conversations with people, I'm gonna play Hex Forever because obviously I'm, antisocial.
So how long are you going to play this game for?
I'm still playing it right now.
So forever.
Well, hello. I met one of my favorite musicians a while back, which is good. I'll date myself if I say who. I'm a young
on.
person. Has anybody listened to Something Corporate? Jack's Mannequin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew McMahon.
Oh.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Well, then there you go. That's the end of my story. That's the end of my married life.
So, some of the stuff I've been into, instead of going to Salt Lake Comic-Con, I went out of town on the same weekend to Anime Week in Atlanta. So that was my first time going to it's been my second time ever going to a convention that's now here in Utah. And the cosplay, wow. And the booty, wow.
Hey.
I saw a lot of it, that's what I'm trying to imply. There's a lot of cosplay in Atlanta that does not fly here.
I don't know.
I think there's a big difference between Atlanta and Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yes, there is.
I think that's a fair point.
Right.
I'm just saying, I was caught off my guard. Anyways, but the dealer's room was kind of the most amazing thing I've ever seen. So one of my biggest complaints I've always had about Salt Lake Comic Con is that you're walking through and you can see artist here, vendor there, blah, blah, blah. But then there's like insurance guy that has like 3 booths size.
Yeah.
Then a car dealership that has like a whole block to themselves. And so you have all these like corporate things that aren't necessarily comic book or, pop culture related, and kind of annoys me. When I went to Anime Week in Atlanta, it was the same size as the Salt Lake Comic Con vendor, but none of that at all. Just 100% anime merchandise.
All anime all the time.
That's because corporations have no idea what anime is.
But it was amazing. There was also some things that made me a little uncomfortable, not because they make me uncomfortable, but because of the specific situation. If you guys have ever heard of like they're called like dakimuras, but they are body pillows that usually have anime characters.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen a 30 Rock episode.
Yep.
So
Yep.
So they can go from like official ones where the characters are dressed and it's fine, it's decent, but then like
Still
there's,
weird though. We're acknowledging that it's weird.
I have never said
All right.
they're not weird.
Okay.
As long as we understand.
But then you get into the weird side where they have like the fan ones, which are risque. So there was a booth that had a whole bunch of risque body pillows, and right across from them was this family that was selling like candy and ramen and like CDs and DVDs from Japan. But the person that was in charge of like handling their money was like their 10-year-old daughter. And I was like, why are you in front of the body pillows? Please don't be. Anyways, that was... And I also spent more money than I should have on, like, statues and toys and things like that.
Something I got that I forgot to bring, and I'm sorry because it's for Brady, but there's an artist on Instagram. You can find him, Mr. Trevor Downs. Really great guy, actually local, and is going still to UVU, I believe. But
cool.
Had a huge Doctor Who kind of presence there, and we had just finished our podcast, and so I was like, oh, Doctor Who.
Ooh.
I got a really cool poster of the Doctor, and it's images from all the different series all mixed up, so it looks like he's running through a bunch of different pages, you know, from like a book or something, or pieces of glass, you know, where it's like each one of them has a little bit of like imagery from the Doctor, you know, and he's kind of like, his arm is in from one Doctor, and you know, I think he has Matt Smith's head or David Tennant's head, and
cool.
you know, it's a really cool picture.
Like on his neck.
What?
He has the head on it.
Right on the neck.
Yeah,
right
thank
on,
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
I also got a funny poster that I'm showing Brady, these two right here, of like little like Doctor Who puns. So instead of Time Lord, it's like Slime Lord, Crime Lord,
Dime Lord,
Dime Lord.
That's funny.
So it's a whole
Lime
poster
Lord,
of him, and I left
Lime
it at
Lord,
home.
Crime Lord, Lime Lord, Grind Lord, Crime Lord, Time Lord.
Really, really funny.
T-H-Y-M-E Lord.
Yeah.
As in parsley, sage, rosemary, and...
Time Lord.
That's awesome. I love it.
So yeah, and it's there's more than are on here. A couple
Cool.
that are like just for the post. So that'll be, you know, little something for our fearless leader.
Awesome. So as soon as I got back 2 weeks later, I went to Anime Bonsai.
Bonsai!
How did that compare? Because I hear that's supposed to be a good.
Well,
convention.
it's a good convention. I mean, I enjoy it. It's been small.
Yeah.
It's been around for 10 years, so
Yeah.
it grows a little bit every year. But going into their dealer's room, which is like probably the size of Brady's house, compared to like the vendor's room at Atlanta, was just like, oh. I cried inside a little bit.
Just like I do every time I come home.
Aw.
Hey,
What we're saying is Brady's house is not very big.
it's pretty
bigger
big.
than
He
my
has a
apartment.
room-
I was like,
He has a room for us. I mean,
yeah, I
it's,
know.
But
There's been a lot of anime in here, man.
but apart from being a Globetrotting anime fan, I have been watching more anime. I started watching a show
gosh.
called Gurren Lagann, which is an excellent show. There's a lot of it's kind of just over the top, and it doesn't care about just like how justifying anything, because like if somebody gets into a robot, it tells them you can't be in here, and it has a little logo for them already, and you're just like, that's fine, whatever. And so then like they take two robots, and one of them has like a drill that comes out of the bottom of it, and he just sticks it onto another robot, and that makes them combine somehow, and that's perfectly a-okay. And then they do it to another robot who's a giant battleship, and that's how they win, by sticking this tiny robot onto other robots.
Because robots.
And I haven't finished the series, but I got to the point where they kill off what you think is the main antagonist, and then it jumps 7 years into the future when there's a prophecy about to be fulfilled. So that's actually been pretty cool.
I feel like I'm like the old guy who is talking to young kids. You can play with them robots, son. Like, I have no idea what's going on.
I think you should. I think if you like crazy over the top robot action, it's actually just a really good show.
That's
like
a pretty
Pacific
good log
Rim.
line.
I like-
Crazy over-the-top robot action.
I like Pacific Rim, so okay.
So I want to get into it because somebody told me that there's like robots the size of galaxies, and I'm guessing I'm not at that point yet because no robot I've seen has been the size of a galaxy, and I'm kind of waiting for it.
How? Okay.
Yeah, when I get there, I'll let you know. I have also just the other day I watched part 2, but I have seen Attack on Titan live action, the movie part 2 and 1 and 2.
And how horrible are they on a
They're
scale
not
of 1
that
to 10?
horrible, actually.
I've only been hearing bad things. I know nothing about them except for
It
what we talked about.
depends. If you go in expecting a B movie cash-in of a popular franchise, you're gonna be. Your expectations are set exactly where they should be.
Way
right.
to manage expectations.
if you go in thinking this is gonna be a blockbuster from Japan, no. The first movie just feels like one director was doing like, I'm gonna do my own thing, and then the studio was like, but you need to make it look like the anime, and they brought in somebody else and just. Whereas the second episode is the second movie is a lot tighter. There's more action, and it feels better.
I definitely thought you were talking about One Direction for a minute when you were speaking. And I'm like, that has no context to what we were talking about. Must not be what he said.
I'm glad they broke up because I didn't know what they were all
They
about.
didn't break up.
I'm
One dude left the
heartbroken.
band, that's
Dang
all.
it.
Zane.
Was it Harry
So
Styles?
I will say
Harry
this.
Styles will
Okay.
never leave. He's perfect.
My job requires me to constantly monitor Twitter. And when you do that,
Yikes.
you learn some things about boy bands that I never wanted to know and will not be
Aw,
allowed
come
on this
on.
podcast. The end. I have spoken.
Okay.
Oh, you can't stop me.
But Attack on Titan, like once you have your own, once you know what you're going into, it's actually really enjoyable. The first part did have some really laughable special effects. You guys remember? Have you guys seen the original King Kong?
Yeah.
Do you remember that really terrible scene where like that giant monkey hand comes in and picks up the girl?
Oh,
That
yeah.
happens about 3 times.
Oh,
There's this giant hand just comes in really slowly, grabs somebody, and just pulls them out of the shot. You're just like, well, that just happened.
okay.
Um,
Fair.
and apart from that, just been reading the terrible distribution and publication mess that is Secret Wars, which is actually a lot better than it has any right to be. But yeah,
It's about over now, isn't it?
Kind of.
Kind of.
The event as a whole is over.
Kind of weird.
So the whole event thing is over, and like the new relaunches are coming out. So
Is it
they're-
all new, all different?
Yeah. So all that stuff is coming out right now in October. So if you ever want to get into comics, right now is the perfect time. The problem is that the actual Secret Wars main title is still not done.
Oh.
So they just came out with issue 6 out of 8.
So I guess we know who's gonna live?
Yeah.
Is it gonna connect?
And so, like, the worst part is, like, Doctor Doom's comic book came out, and he's completely different from the last time we saw him in the main series. So we're just like, something happened, something really drastic happened, and nobody has any idea what it was.
I read all the Runaways.
Fantastic Four came out.
Oh, well.
No, get out of here. Get out of your house. Get out of your own house.
Right, get out of your own house, please.
Anyway, so that's what we've been into. We're going to take a quick break, and we will come back with some of our favorite Halloween things that we enjoy.
Hallelujah.
Thanks, Brady.
So we're going to be talking about some of our favorite things about Halloween.
Yeah.
Some of the things that we really enjoy.
Recording?
It doesn't matter.
We have been.
That was
fine.
all on the record.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, Curtis.
You can say anything you want right now. Shark farts.
I'm really sorry, guys.
We can cut it out.
Or we
Okay.
can keep it.
Brady, start recording now.
Okay.
Anyway,
Oh, sorry. Future Brady, start recording now.
thank you.
You're not future. Okay, look.
No, I'm
it's gonna
saying
work.
thank you to future Brady. When he has it to you.
Oh my god.
Because future me will listen to this and go, oh, thanks for the reminder.
So we us are saying what we us are saying now.
Yeah.
Clock and
Oh.
is always running.
It was Back to the Future Day this week.
That was from Bill and Ted.
Guys, do you think they celebrated Back to the Future Day in 1955? I made a funny.
We gotta go back.
We're never gonna get
No,
anywhere.
the holiday.
We're not. Anyways,
Good
We are
morning,
never
Baltimore.
getting started.
we are started right now. Please, future Brady, please keep that in the podcast. Anyways, so do you guys mind if I just go first with one of my favorite Halloween
Yeah,
things?
why don't we talk
certainly.
about Halloween?
You know what my favorite Halloween episode of any series ever has been? It has been Avatar: The Last Airbender, Season 3, the Bloodbending episode.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
That's a good one.
Which,
So scary.
so I typically hate seasonal episodes, whether they're like Christmas episodes or like some other thing or like Halloween, because they usually take like this left turn and it really feels out of place in the context of the whole season or whatever.
Right.
Avatar: The Last Airbender did this really well by introducing a really spooky element of the airbending world, of the Avatar world, and dedicating a whole episode to it. And it feels rightfully creepy, but it never feels like this is just a side stop, because it adds to the plot, and it's later referenced upon and even used even more.
in Legend of Korra.
Legend of Korra, and even towards the end of Avatar: The Last Airbender, that it comes up again. And it's this really excellent thing for people that don't know, is this episode that starts out with Aang and the gang, or the gang,
Yeah.
They were a great Cool in the Gang cover band.
So they get to this
Oliver
town,
Bossing said.
and there's kind of like all these weird, spooky mystery going on about people that are just disappearing into this mountain. And Toph, who can feel the earth, feels that there's people trapped under the mountain.
Such a creepy line.
Ooh,
So
man.
there's all these like really creepy elements, and there's this creepy old lady that they meet, and then they get into her backstory, how the Fire Nation took over, and she was a waterbender, so they kept her like secluded away in this little metal box inside like a volcano, and kept her without any water, and only fed her at very like specific times, and all these precautions because she was a waterbender. And then it gets into the story about how she found out she could bloodbend, and she starts bloodbending all these little mice that are kind of around her cage, and she stands them up all straight, and it's all very creepy, and it's all very well done, and it kind of just gets to this point where she tells Katara, she teaches her how to do it, to pass on the legacy of bloodbending, and it's something that Katara doesn't want at all, and she's essentially forced into bloodbending in order to like save herself and her friends, and it's so well done. It's so creepy, and it never takes you out of the season as a whole.
I didn't realize it was a Halloween episode.
Yeah.
Because they don't talk about Halloween the holiday. They don't make
Right.
reference
They
to it.
don't.
It's just like,
It's just
what's our stop today? Oh, Creepy Ladyville.
exactly,
All right.
and that's why I said it's really well done, because when you watch it, when you binge it in the middle of April, it doesn't feel like a Halloween episode. But it did air in October in its original air date.
Yeah, that's a creepy episode.
Yeah.
That's one you don't watch with the lights off.
Nope.
No.
Like it. So yeah, the thing that I like about the bloodbending is, first of all, it's tied really closely into the established
Lore.
What does waterbending do? It controls water, controls the movement of water.
Mm-hmm.
And so the bloodbenders are controlling the movement of the water inside a living body. And the way that it is depicted, with the limbs contorting and the faces of the people who are being bloodbent, they look like they're in pain. And so it is legitimately terrifying.
And one of my favorite things leading up to it, because she's telling Katara about this, and she's telling her, as waterbenders, we have so much water around us, because you don't just need this. And she does this thing where she like sucks all the water out of the plants around her, and they all die instantly. You're just like, oh, that's cool, but that's creepy.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what a waste. And then it's like, she's doing it to people.
And then there's... so I'm totally stomping on all those toes here, I think, by talking over this.
I'm done.
Oh, geez. With a lot of good horror stories, the horror protagonist, by the end of the story, has become the thing that they're afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember the old lady's name, the bloodbender. Her last line is, "Congratulations, Katara, now you're a bloodbender," or something like that. And and Katara is just devastated. She like breaks down and cries because she now has the ability to do something that is completely unconscionable to her.
And I love it because it's something that only she experiences up to that point. And then when they call back to it, when she goes and she's finding the guy that killed her mother, and she bloodbends him.
Yeah.
When she's trying to kill him, and she's doing all these things that are typical waterbender things. She's, using the rain around her. She's creating like ice spikes, and she's threatening to kill him. But then she bloodbends, and you're just like, oh yeah, this is a thing. This is a scary thing.
Yeah, so it's used as a very good indicator of where Katara is and exactly what she's thinking, and what she is thinking is not pleasant.
Yeah. So this time we're gonna go in opposite order. So Emily, what's one of your favorite Halloween things?
This is kind of... A lot of people probably feel this way, but I like Hocus Pocus. I can watch that movie any time of year, but Halloween's just a good time because, well, it's obvious. And I mean, it's on ABC Family like every other movie, and I just like it a lot. That's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorite Bette Midler roles, I think.
I forget about how quotable that movie is.
It
until I
is!
think about
I've only seen it once in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Did it not interest you
We watched it.
after
No.
you watched it once?
Oh
or
man!
Maybe
in
you have
the
to
theater 1,000 times at home.
Right.
Man. It just, I think it's one of those things that like happened in the 90s where it's like, yeah, we're all on board with this, right? Oh yeah. This, The Sandlot, a couple other things where like everybody knows about it, everybody saw it, everybody liked it.
Well, there's so much quirky charm with Hocus Pocus too, because I mean, it's obviously a Halloween movie. These witches are coming back from the dead. You know what I mean? It's got a really good cast of people. It's not perfectly acted by everybody, but everybody's got a certain charm, you
Sarah
know.
Jessica Parker's less horse-like.
Right, less horse, slightly.
That was
less
mean,
horse-like.
but true.
No,
mean,
that's
you're not
not
wrong.
wrong. It's not wrong. I don't know. I just like that movie a
I
lot.
like Gary Marshall playing Satan.
Right? Let's just throw you in
So
this movie. His wife
They
is
call
funny
me
too.
Master. You wait till I see what I'm going to call you.
So I remember,
That was his sister.
I remember as
Yeah,
a
that's Gary
kid,
Marshall, isn't it?
the number one thing that creeped me out about that movie were the witches, wasn't Satan. No, it was the book.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
because it has an
yes.
eye that
It
moves
was an
around.
eye.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The skin
So creepy.
cover. Yeah.
Right? Ew. I
Yeah.
didn't even think about that. Ew.
Ugh.
Plus, Omri Katz is really cute. So there's that. The 90s hair, you know. Who doesn't love that? It's pretty good time. I'm sorry. I like it. And
Have you
then,
not seen it?
Aldo has seen it one more time than I have.
Oh, come
I
on!
have never seen Hocus Pocus, you guys.
okay, so your assignment this October
They're making a
is
sequel.
to watch Hocus Pocus.
And I was completely unaffected by that news.
Oh, I was
Who were
like,
your friends in the 90s, and why didn't they force you to watch that?
Brady, you were my friend in the 90s.
what did you
You have failed!
Consequently, you're friends in the 2010s.
Apparently not anymore.
You should
John,
watch it. It's good. It stars the dude who plays the dead kid before he dies, the brother. He's actually on
Zachary?
NCIS. Which
Oh, really?
Is super fun. Yeah.
Hmm.
Plays what's his bucket?
I don't watch NCIS. I'm
Oh,
not
well, then never mind.
octogenarian.
I apparently don't watch NCIS enough to know his name, but he's on it. Anyway, I like Hocus Pocus.
Sean, what's one of your favorite Halloween?
Did you call him Sean just now?
No, I think I called him John.
I heard
John.
Sean.
There was an extra J to the John.
Oh, I didn't hear the J.
John.
Jean. Hello, Jean.
Jean Valjean.
Jean.
John. John, what are you into?
I'm into stealing bread and being thrown in prison.
You sound really French right now, by the
Oh
way.
yes, very
Really
it's,
French.
very nice. I run away from Javert. I sing better than he can. And there's a little girl named Colette who likes my dolls. And I have these deux candlesticks. What the?
Who even is this?
If you,
You guys
don't
have seen that
understand,
movie, right? No. Pretty good movie, right?
if you have not seen Les Mis, none of this is going to make sense to you, and I
It didn't,
apologize.
Okay,
make, it
all
didn't make sense to me, but I
All
thought
right.
it was funny. Hilarious.
The girl's
What?
name is not Colette.
What's funny is in the
Sorry,
movie,
Cosette.
Cosette.
I had to actually you there, but oh my gosh, that was
Her
hilarious.
name's Cosette, but in the movie, Sacha Baron Cohen goes, Colette.
I was
Cosette,
thrown off by
Cosette."
that.
Wait.
No, we were talking about. Yeah, I
Halloween.
said the wrong. Dude, you know, you could have just let that.
Halloween.
So John.
We're gonna go back. Okay, go. Okay.
What are your favorite Halloween things, traditions to partake of?
Sorry, now I have this mashup stuck in my head. We were talking about what if, like, Les Mis, or what if Dr. Seuss was, like, musicals, not, like, Seussical, but, like, mixed up with other, so it was, like, Horton Hears a Who meets Les Mis, and it was Master of the House, so, like, Horton hears a who, just a little who, nobody believes him, not the kangaroo, and we were talking, sorry, that just popped into my head from a previous, there's a movie I really like called Young Frankenstein.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't really like I don't like horror movies. I don't like scary things. I don't
They're
like.
gross sometimes.
Yeah, they're really gross. They're gory, stabby. You know.
You don't like getting stabbed?
Not at all. Not at all.
Weirdo. Just
yeah.
saying. Just
Yeah.
kidding. I don't
So-
like getting stabbed either. Please don't kill me. Thanks.
You've like put away your knife. Oh, since you don't like being stabbed, well, we'll
I'll put it away for now.
But this is an exception because Mel Brooks is a genius and it's hilarious. He wanted to make it as a salute to James Whale, who directed, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Actually found the guy who made all the electrical equipment for the first Frankenstein movie, and he still had it.
He used the original set as well,
Yep,
didn't he?
exactly. The
love it.
props from that. And gave him on-screen credit that he didn't get during the original Frankenstein movies.
Yeah.
But really pushed for it, wanted this to be in black and white. He was going to make it with Columbia, and they were like, what did he say? He said, as I was leaving the meeting at Columbia, I yelled through the open door, oh, by the way, it's going to be black and white. Just threw that over my shoulder, and there was a lot of consternation, like, no, wait, stop, no, because they didn't want it to be in black and white.
Yeah.
He was like, no, it has to be this, like, sweating stone castle, like, just like the old movies, it has to be like that. Columbia passed on it. Alan Ladd Jr., who was in charge at Fox was picked it up and gave him the budget that he wanted, and they were like, yeah, black and white. It should be in black and white. He's also the guy who greenlit Star Wars, so good for him.
Good job. A+.
I think it's Mel Brooks' best movie.
I would agree.
I think that parts of History of the World Part 1 are funnier, because that's a really good movie. But Young Frankenstein, like start to finish, I think is his best work.
It's solid from beginning to end. Really.
The rumor, just the little stuff. Walk this way, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which, okay, this is one of the most commonly thrown around bits of trivia regarding this movie. That is where the line "Walk This Way" came from for the Aerosmith song.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's right.
Wow.
You guys probably all knew that, but
Now,
just
does
so
anyone
I'll
know
put it
what
out
Frau Blücher means? Blücher.
No.
I wonder what's got into that. The joke, it's not true, but the joke is that Blücher means glue. So Mel Brooks went with that, even though it's not true. According to the DVD, the horse's tear at her name is meant to show that she's a terrible and frightening person. And according to Gene Wilder, Lord only knows what she does to them when no one's around.
I do have to say, like, one of my favorite. It's kind of trivia, but not Young Frankenstein trivia. It's more like I Love Raymond trivia. But there's the Halloween episode of I Love Raymond.
Everybody loves Raymond.
Everybody loves
Not
Raymond.
just you,
What did I
although
say?
everybody
Did I call
loves
it
I Love
Raymond.
Raymond.
I do love Raymond.
Gosh,
I'm
all
sorry.
those selfish you
But
guys.
Peter Boyle
Yeah.
is in both.
Exactly.
So,
He's the grandpa in. So Peter Boyle plays Frankenstein's monster in
Yeah.
Young Frankenstein. Thank you. And he plays Raymond's father in Everybody Loves Raymond. One of the best parts is there's a Halloween episode where he dresses up as Frankenstein.
That's hilarious.
And everybody kind of like makes a little like nudge, wink, wink about it. And me, as somebody who'd never seen Young Frankenstein before that, I was like, why is everybody pointing out that he's
Like, I
Frankenstein?
don't get it.
So years later, when I saw Young Frankenstein, I was like, oh my gosh, it all makes sense.
That's
like-
the most effort I think anybody has ever put into trying to understand a joke from Everybody Loves Raymond.
I love Raymond.
So that's all. Young Frankenstein, go see it. It's hilarious. Gene Wilder's a genius.
Did they make it into a stage play, or
They
go-
did.
It did.
Musical.
They did.
It didn't run. It ran for about 2 years.
It's not super good.
It's
Yeah.
The movie's better. The songs aren't great.
right. That's how I feel
Madeline
about it,
Kahn
too.
is.
Also, it doesn't have Madeline Kahn in it.
Well, she passed away too early.
Yeah,
That's
just
true.
incredible. Just everybody in the movie is so talented.
Yeah.
Inspector Kemp with his little arm. He'll rules the day, called himself a Frankenstein. What? He'll rules the day, called himself a Frankenstein. Oh. Anyway.
Good time.
So, Brady, what's
Segue.
your favorite Halloween?
So there was a little game that was released in 1996, and it was okay. And then it was re-released in 2002, and it was amazing.
Talking about Conker's Bad Fur Day?
About Okami?
I'm talking about Resident Evil.
I see.
So the
about
Resident,
good.
and specifically the Resident Evil remake on the GameCube. So now, when Resident Evil was originally released on the PlayStation 1, I played it and I thought it was okay, but it wasn't really all that. It wasn't really all that frightening, and just the ridiculous big polygons of the PlayStation 1 just never really kind of affected me. And then they re-released it with a complete overhaul on the GameCube in 2002, and to this day, it is one of the most gorgeous games out there, and it's all because of the art design, and of course the backgrounds are all pre-rendered, so you get away with a lot that way, but just the atmosphere in this game is off the charts, and it is seriously freaky. So because I had played the original Resident Evil on the PlayStation 1, I knew the basic mechanics of it, how everything works, shoot the zombies in the head, blah, blah, blah.
Terrible tank controls.
Yeah, terrible tank controls. And then, when I played it in 2002, I just thought, okay, yeah, I've done this before. And, killed a zombie, and then went and did a bunch of stuff in another part of the mansion, then went back, and the zombie gets up and starts running which is not something that zombies are supposed to do.
I love running zombies.
Especially
That shit's so scary.
in Resident Evil, running and lunging at me. And I very nearly wet myself.
In fact, he did. He's wetting himself now thinking about
Shut
it.
up!
Playing his PlayStation in a puddle.
I'm wearing my Depends. It's okay, guys.
Hashtag Radia's old joke.
I'm not saying he's old. I'm just saying he pees his pants.
She's just saying he's a bedwetter.
Right.
Or a seat wetter.
I would like to point out that Steven is an entire month older than I am.
Whoa!
And yet,
hold the phone.
Hashtag old man Bradford.
Nobody has ever used the word incontinent to describe me.
Touche.
You know the real horror here.
Incontinence is not funny, guys. Did you see The Visit?
Oh, this is a happy Halloween place. Guys, don't see The Visit.
I read the synopsis and it scared me.
It really, I liked it.
So,
We'll argue after
so
the
back on
podcast.
subject,
So
Brady.
anyway, so
Have you played the remake?
I have not played it yet, and I
Remake?
need to get it.
So they've taken all the GameCube assets and stretched them out to 1080p for PlayStation 4, 3, Wii U, computer, and all that stuff. So it's been re-released for people who missed out on the GameCube era.
And so you should go out and you should buy it.
For $15
And you know,
on Steam.
after this game, you know, they released Resident Evil 0, which was still pretty good. But then the series went a drastically different direction with Resident Evil 4, which is definitely a masterpiece. However,
Yeah.
Wouldn't
I'm
use
making sprinkle
Masterpiece.
fingers over here, you guys.
I really wouldn't use Masterpiece.
however, it doesn't have that atmosphere that I love so much in Resident Evil.
Yeah, it's true.
Doesn't make you
So-
pee your pants.
Great. Okay, does anybody have anything to say about this? Because, I mean, I love it. I've played the remake on the GameCube.
That's one of those games that I
I'm too
just
afraid
kinda
to play
watch
games
people
like that. No, thank you.
It's actually probably one of the first
Stick
games
with
that,
Harvest
like,
Moon.
made
You'll
me
never
scared.
get
I mean,
scared.
because you were, I don't know how old you were when you first played the 1996 version.
Well, it came out in 2002, so I would have been 17, 18.
Okay, so when the 1996 one came out, like the terrible PlayStation one, I was like 6 years old. I watched my uncle play it, and he locked me in a room, turned all the lights off, had really
Oh,
loud
no.
speakers, and I sat there and I couldn't leave that room until he finished playing. And there was the part where it's like a really long hallway, and you're kind of
With the
walking.
dog?
Yeah.
Yes! I cried, and I went under the bed, and that's where I stayed.
Aw.
I love that you're not afraid to admit any of this.
No.
I'm glad that you feel safe in this environment, although...
Yeah, it's not like we're recording this for other people to hear.
Yeah, it's not like we're going to post this online.
Anyways, Steven, you being so brave, what's one of your favorite Halloween things to partake of?
So it's funny that Brady mentions Resident Evil, because I too want to talk about a scary video game. I've got a holy trinity. There are 3 video games that I hold up as being, like, the greatest horror games ever made. One of them is the aforementioned Resident Evil 4. Not necessarily a great horror game in the sense that it is actually scary, but it is a great video game that has a lot of horror elements.
Right.
I'm also a big fan of Fatal Frame 2, which I was really, really, really tempted to talk about, because it's the video game that makes you stare at the things that are scaring you.
Right.
But it's topical because we just had a Wii U game come out.
That said, I have to talk about the game that is so good and so scary that I will never, ever, ever play it again, and that would be Silent Hill 2.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
terrible.
Oh, Silent Hill 2 is a classic, frequently regarded to be the greatest horror game ever made. And I came to it because I used to read the website Games Radar, and they had an article that outlined the best video game stories of all time. This was written in, like, 2010, so a lot of games have come out since then with killer storylines. But it mentioned games like Final Fantasy VI, which is my all-time favorite video game, and it mentioned Silent Hill 2. And just reading their synopsis made me interested enough in it that I bought it as my first horror game.
Oh, no.
Unlike the Resident Evil games where you play as basically a police officer and so you know where to shoot the zombie, Silent Hill 2, the combat controls are terrible.
Yes.
And that is not a bug, it's a feature.
Yeah.
Because you are a normal person that is wandering through this town that is filled with these shambling, faceless abominations, and you are no better prepared to kill them than you, the video game player, would actually be if you wandered into a foggy town full of faceless abominations and strangely busty nurses.
Right.
But actually, since you bring that up, it's actually one of my favorite aspects of.
Oh yeah,
Silent Hill.
I was totally going to get into
Okay.
this. Go ahead. Go ahead, though.
No, I was gonna- so each of the
So busty nurses?
yeah.
Yes, there's a point to this.
There is. So one of the great things about each of the Silent Hill games, this is something the movie didn't understand, is that each of the Silent Hill game plays on like the psychology of the main character. So that's why Silent Hill 1 is very different to number 2 in as far as the enemies that they have. I think the only constant in the games is Pyramid Head, but he acts differently in each of the games. So there's a lot of kind of implied sexual problems with the protagonist of Silent Hills 2 that they're never really like shoved in your face, but as you play and like you realize, oh, this is how he sees Silent Hill. This is how he perceives the monsters and blah blah blah. And you start going like, oh, there's layers to this character.
Yeah, this might be a spoiler, guys. This might be a bit of a spoiler. It's been so long since I played the game.
15-year-old game.
Yeah, again, this is like a 15, 20-year-old game, so, this is on you. But, James Sunderland, the protagonist of Silent Hill 2, his wife is, I think she's missing at the beginning, but I don't think it takes very long for you to find out that she's been sick. And so Pyramid Head, who is the iconic Silent Hill villain, this big guy with a bare chest and a giant metal pyramid mask that drags on the floor.
I saw that at
ComicCon. Yeah.
I was like, why?
It's a Pyramid Head. It's a Silent Hill 2 villain. Pyramid Head is the representation of James Sunderland's sexual frustration that he can't sleep with his wife because she is sick. So it deals with this really petty side of your character. And there's so many great mechanics, a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
That's a game that you play with the lights off and you hate yourself the entire time.
Right.
It is legitimately terrifying.
And that's why it bugs me that when they did the Silent Hill movie, they have a completely different protagonist, but they have all the iconic Silent Hill 2 stuff that is aesthetically, it doesn't match because that's not what she would be seeing. Because the whole point is that every protagonist sees Silent Hill differently.
Right.
So I've tried to play Silent Hill 2 again. I'll stick the disc in the PlayStation 2. I'll turn it on. I'll start walking down. At the very beginning of the game, there's this long path that you're walking down.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of fog. You can't see anything, and you hear dogs howling in the distance. Nothing actually attacks you during this scene. But I'm just like, nope, can't do this again.
Yeah, I have this very vivid memory of watching my older brother play that game and that particular beginning part of the game. I didn't sleep that night. It's so vivid in my head, like I could still... Anyway.
At ComicCon, there was a 12-year-old girl dressed up as Pyramid Head. And I look at her, and I say, either your parents don't know what sort of media you're consuming, or they don't care. Either way, your parents are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But simultaneously awesome.
Somebody paid for that mask.
Right.
Yeah.
So, can I just make a recommendation?
Yeah.
And this is a really divisive game, but based on what you enjoy about Silent Hill 2, I'd suggest Silent Hill Shattered Memories.
I was going to say Eternal Darkness.
Oh, Eternal Darkness as well.
That's fine.
But Silent Hill Shattered Memories, it's different than the other Silent Hills games where you really do not have a weapon.
Yeah.
You see evil things, you run, and that's about it.
But that one, you don't have any weapons because it's designed that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not meant to have any combat whatsoever, and that actually bugs me. I'd rather have terrible combat than no combat.
Yeah, because at least with the terrible combat, you can get that sort of adrenaline fight or flight situation. And then when you're caught in the corner, you can fight, and you might actually have a chance of surviving, because that's pretty true to horror too.
Right.
But one thing that I do love about Shattered Memories, though, is that the game plays off of how you play it on a psychological level. So, like, let's say that you see, a poster of, a beautiful woman in a bikini, and you linger a little bit too long on that screen, then the game remembers that, and it plays towards that, and it kind of changes the game around it.
And Silent Hill,
actually really cool.
Silent Hill 2 does that in a remarkable way that is very definitely a spoiler, and so I kind of don't want to say it.
There's also a dog that controls everything.
Oh yeah, the gag ending for Silent
there's
Hill.
multiple endings. Like to add to the fear of this of playing it once, there's also multiple endings to force you to play it more times. And one of them is a joke where Sunderland walks into this control room and there is a dog at a station with multiple keyboards and TVs.
And he says, "I knew it!" And then they roll the credits.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't like scary things.
Okay, so
Mario.
if you can play Mario or play Harvest Moon. The only bad thing that can happen in Harvest Moon
You keep saying
is you
Harvest
can
Moon.
kill your cow, and then it's a sad scene. That's it.
You can be turned
See, I don't
down
know
by the
Harvest
village
Moon.
girl.
Oh, that's
That's
true.
true.
If you don't
Harvest
get
Moon,
Karen
I only
drunk
see
enough.
Sailor Moon in my head.
That would
Sorry.
be
Sailor Moon with like a hoe and a rake.
that would be great. You have Usagi running out of her house with a piece of toast to go like pull the cabbage.
Well,
That would be a great game, Sailor Harvest Moon. I would totally play
I
this.
would too.
Anyways, woo! So time for round 2 of everybody's favorite Halloween things. My second favorite Halloween thing to enjoy ever has been Harry Potter. And it's kind of weird
That's
because
all year. What are you?
I mean it
talking
is all
about?
year, but like
every
specifically
day.
specifically Harry Potter 1 has a very, I don't want to say
yeah.
Halloween vibe, but it does have a little bit of like, you know,
Halloween
these
and
things.
Christmas.
So it's
Yeah.
magical.
It has like
the
this,
John Williams
it has this
music.
whole thing
Right,
where like
it is.
it should be spooky
Curtis
because we're
will
talking
talk about
about
that all
witches and trolls and ghouls and like headless ghosts
Troll,
and stuff like that.
troll in the dungeon.
But
You don't know.
but it turns it around and like it does these things. I mean the book. I mean you know the book is the best probably part,
yeah.
but I love the movie because the movie kind of commits to this whole. This is supposed to be like a Halloween, like witches and ghosts are supposed to be a Halloween thing. So they have their cloaks, and I think it's only in the first and second movie that you ever see these kids with their little witch hats. They're mentioned several times in the movies, but in the books. But in the movies, I think you only see them like in the first 2 movies, and then somebody realized, you know, those look kind of stupid in real life.
There was also a different director by the third movie.
You know that too, who probably said those look stupid in real life. But it does all these things, and I just really enjoy it. And the music, I think, is not. It's not spooky. It's whimsical, but like in a Halloween
John
type of
Williams.
way.
There's certainly some minor.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't really know music, so I'm probably going to use the term wrong. But like minor chord progressions. There's
Yeah.
certainly some
Yeah.
spookiness
And-
to that score.
And I kind of love it, especially because like the second and third one really kind of go full on with this is a spooky mystery, and then there's a whole movie dedicated to spiders, so that can go burn in fire. But that's just me. I just love Harry Potter. And I think it's
That's
up
because you're an
to-
I'd recommend
intelligent
that
person.
audiobooks is the best.
Yes, but Jim Dale.
Jim Dale.
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
Yes. So.
Jim Dale is
Hundreds of
perfect.
voices. Like that's yeah.
Have you ever seen Pushing Daisies?
I don't care for it.
The facts of the
Okay, well, the narrator in Pushing Daisies is the guy who does the audiobooks.
Oh, okay.
And he does a different voice for every character, and it's a better performance of the 3 main characters than anybody else.
Well, I mean, they were like 10, so.
You guys are gonna make it.
Emily, what's your second Halloween
Well-
joy?
Curtis brought something up that he believes is a very good Halloween-y thing, if not an all-year thing, so I'm going to talk about it for you. I don't play this game, so it doesn't pertain to me, but it's a very good suggestion.
Oh, Curtis's face is great.
Alien Isolation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That game.
Do tell. I have no idea.
Well, he mentions that it's a good mix of, like Stephen was talking about, that fight or flight kind of reflex. It's super scary. And the thing about that game, too, is the alien, like, learns
Ooh.
as you're going. So
Like if you try to hide in the same place every time,
it's gonna find
it
you the
finds
next
you.
time. So, well, that's pretty scary. So you never really know what you're gonna get. You have to try to get yourself out of these situations before you die.
It also learns like your tactics really well. So if you start like throwing a can to make noise over there, after a certain point, it's gonna go like, all right, I've heard that can like 12 times now. No, no.
Not going that way. Gonna go where I was going before.
And also the save system also adds to like the terror of it because you can only save like at these terminals. So you have to go and you have to like brave it because it's usually like in front of like an open area. So you have to run through this open area, hope that the alien doesn't see you, so you can press save and hope that the animation finishes.
Right.
There's been a lot of people die during the animation, and their game does not save.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So it adds to like real terror as opposed to like in-game terror.
What else is scary about it is, like, the thing about you know, music makes things scary, whatever, but the absence of sound, too.
Yes.
Like, when
Indeed.
it's totally silent and you're just lost in your own thoughts, like, that's really scary. And that game emphasizes that a lot.
In space, nobody can hear you scream.
Right?
Tagline of the
Whew!
movie. Yeah.
That's scary thinking about it.
I think one of the things it does really well is they put a lot of dedication into making it look and feel like the original ship from the movie. So if you've seen
Yes. It looks
kinda-
like the Nostromo.
Yeah. It adds to that level. I
yeah.
can see Curtis's face.
He's smiling.
He refuses to speak. You wanna
So
just-
if I add one thing to this, Alien Isolation sounds better than any other game ever made. And I'll tell you why. Because in Ridley Scott's original Alien, the sound designers that he hired for the Nostromo, they recorded 12 hours worth of sound for each and every room in the Nostromo.
Wow.
The Nostromo sounds different. If you turned off the video of Alien and turned off the dialogue, you could hear what room they are in.
Really?
Those same sounds are used in Alien Isolation.
That's cool.
And it is so subconscious that it terrifies me anyway. Ridley Scott's Alien is, in my opinion, one of the better sci-fi horror movies ever made, if not the best.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
And then I wanted to touch on, I like Tim Burton movies all year. Any day, really. But Halloween's a good time to watch those. That's all.
Yeah. He did officially go on record.
Henry
to say-
Selick did, not Tim Burton.
Oh, was it? Oh.
Henry
Yeah.
Selick, the director of Nightmare Before Christmas, officially indicated that it is a Halloween movie, not a Christmas movie.
Oh, I
I'm
thought
still
it was
going to
the
watch
one-
it both times
I
this
thought
year.
he like got up and said, "Enough is enough." Look, he just produced it. I directed it.
I'm sure sometimes he's like, look, guys, here's
This is
the deal.
my movie. He just wrote the kids' book.
Right?
That's funny.
So if you were wondering, Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween
Yeah,
movie.
I don't really watch it.
Watch it all the year anyway, because
I do.
why does that matter?
Yeah. But it's mostly because I don't like Christmas media.
Do,
So, John.
I'm surprised that we got around the table once and back to me without anyone mentioning The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror.
Oh.
The only episodes of The Simpsons that my parents would let me watch when I was growing up
Really?
were the most disturbing ones.
They're the funniest.
bizarre.
You know, my favorite that I'm going to talk about right now, Treehouse of Horror 5.
Mm-hmm.
This is The Shinning.
With
This is
Willie
great
in each of them.
That's not the best you can do. He gets axed in the back every time. Oh, that.
Is that Great F?
very disturbing.
It's also.
Is
yeah.
it Great F Meat? Is that Fifth Treehouse?
That's the one where I
They
forget the
eat
names
all
of
the
all of them. They
bullies.
eat the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Great F Meat.
Uderbraten, yeah.
Mhm.
And they also Homer goes back in time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! All right, just remember, think back to your wedding day when the advice your father gave to you. If you ever go back in time, don't step on anything. It's so sad because he gets to the future where Patty and Selma are dead. They're rich and prosperous. The kids are well behaved, and they don't know what donuts are. And he leaves and goes back in the time machine, and then it starts raining donuts, and it's just. Oh, it's so sad every time. Why didn't you stay, Homer? But particularly the Shinning cracks me up every time. So so great. Just no TV and no beer make Homer something.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Don't mind if I do.
Oh, just so good.
So good.
Actually, one of my favorite ones is the one where he finds like the portal behind the bookcase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also
And
one of my favorites.
He goes into. Anyone see the movie Tron? No. Yes. I mean, no.
That's actually the episode that made me watch Tron
Really?
because I was part of the no.
I still,
And I saw it.
I still haven't seen Tron. I liked Tron Legacy. I think
Have
I
you
was
not?
the only one.
Oh,
I actually really like
do you
Yeah.
want me to let you borrow Tron? I have the DVD.
I don't know.
Yes. Anyways,
You should see it once.
But yeah, that's true. But Simpsons, like, just some of those Halloween episodes, because they're, a lot quicker paced, the jokes come faster,
Yeah.
like when they run over Flanders with the car. He's
Right.
like, hey, Maud, diddly. He's like, oh, I thought you were... He's like, yeah, if I do die, I don't want any autopsies. And throws him off the roof. Yeah.
I think on that note, like it's not just like tighter and faster, but I think because each of the episodes has like a very tight theme to it.
Yeah.
I think the jokes also just mesh a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They don't feel as random as some episodes do.
My personal favorite Treehouse of Horror segment is the Dracula.
Oh,
with Mr. Burns. and the super fun slide.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I shouldn't. But when will I ever have another chance?
I like when he's staking him and he's like, that's his crotch. I follow The Simpsons Instagram. It's just The Simpsons IG, and they do like 15-second clips, and that was the one the other day.
Oh my
So
gosh!
funny.
You're staking him in the crotch. Anyway.
Oh,
I also like the Raven episode. That one was
Oh,
really
yeah,
good.
narrated by
But was it a praise? No.
James Earl Jones.
Oh.
Ooh,
Oh.
Yeah.
James Earl Jones.
This is most disturbing. Like, he comes back every now and again.
Very nice.
Oh, disgusting. Sorry, Curtis just snapped his neck, and like that's one of those things I hate. There's like bone popping, crackling sounds. Ugh.
Yeah, you didn't like the Man of Steel movie, did you?
Hey-o!
I'm still
Should have
bitter.
killed John. Should have killed Zod first, before they wrecked the city. Should have saved his dad and killed Zod.
There are so many feels that Curtis is having right now.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
Curtis is
Exploding
agreeing
with
with
the
me. He's
No,
going
no,
to kill me.
no. He's agreeing with you.
Curtis is a glass case of emotion right now.
I have never wanted more for this podcast to be a video podcast. So much bad.
Eventually, we will have a podcast dedicated to hatred of Man of Steel.
I think we should
Not
have.
all bad.
I think we should
Not all
invest
bad.
in one of
Bad
those
stuff is real.
3D
Yes, it
cameras,
is.
like not the 3D cameras, like one of those cameras that do the 360 view.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
We should.
What are we in
at one
that
point.
70s show? We're
Yeah.
all going to get lit and talk
I mean-
about, like, what are they talking about?
If you're down, I'm down.
So it runs on water.
Brady, what's your second particular Halloween joy?
So I'm going to go with a movie that really isn't the best overall movie, but for some reason, this one really sticks out to me as a horror movie that I love. And that is The Skeleton Key.
That's
I've never
that
seen
one's
it.
okay.
The Skeleton King? Or
The
The
Skeleton,
skeleton
Key.
key with
And
Kate
it's
Hudson.
starring Kate Hudson and John Hurt, that never says anything the entire movie.
Yep.
But she actually plays stay-at-home hospice nurse for John Hurt, who's dying. And there's just something that's kind of off about John Hurt's wife.
Oh, this has one of those creepy posters where it's the eye.
But the whole movie revolves around, because it takes place in the South, and it revolves around voodoo.
Oh,
And basically, the main theme of the movie is that you can't be affected by voodoo if you don't believe in it.
Oh.
And so it's basically Kate Hudson seeing all these things and having things happen to her that make her slowly believe more and more in voodoo until the very end when things happen. And I'm not going to ruin it too much, but it's phenomenally acted, it's well written, it's fun, and it is genuinely scary without going for the jump scares or the gore.
Right.
And so it's thrilling. I highly recommend it.
It's one of my favorite Kate Hudson movies.
John Hurt is in Harry Potter, Alien, and that movie.
wait, who's in?
Who's in
Harry
Harry
Potter?
Potter?
Ollivander.
Ollivander.
Oh,
Oh my gosh!
It
My mind is
absolutely
completely blown.
Also, I met Bishop once.
And he's also the war doctor.
Yep. Curtis and I have many a conversation about best actors in movies. John Hurt's very close to the top of most of our lists.
And of course he's in Hellboy.
Right.
He's Ollivander!
He's just a good.
John's back here like, wait,
He's
no.
a good Halloween actor, I guess.
Yeah.
What the what?
He's a good actor, period.
6 degrees to John Hurt, guys.
Right? It's really easy.
All right then.
Sounds like
Shatters
I-
my entire universe.
It really sounds like now I could connect things to John Hurt more easily than Kevin Bacon.
Nowadays, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Steven,
Hey, Aldo.
what's your second Halloween joy to partake of?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about something that I've been into over the last month.
This is serious. You people can't see this, but he just closed his.
I just
notepad.
closed my iPad.
He's ready.
I am
to
ready for
discuss
this.
This is serious.
I have
discussion.
watched this show 3 or 4 full times through in the last month. And this is a brand new thing for me. I just heard about it. It's apparently about a year old. Last year, Cartoon Network put out a miniseries, which is not something that Cartoon Network generally does, I don't think.
Oh, is it? I think I know what it is.
It's called Over the Garden Wall. I had never heard of this before. I went to ComicCon, Salt Lake Comic-Con, and there were all these people walking around in pairs. One of them was dressed like a garden gnome with like a blue coat and a red pointy hat, and the other one was dressed in green overalls with a teapot upside down on their head. I had no idea what this was about. I thought it was from some anime or something.
Oh, is that what that's about? Because I saw that at Anime Bonsai,
Yeah.
the upside down thing.
Yeah, it's Over the Garden Wall. It's about 2 brothers. The oldest brother is named Wirt, and the younger brother is named Gregory, and they are lost in the forest. And it is 10 15-minute episodes that tell the story about them being lost in the forest and trying to find their way back home. And it's kind of a bizarre movie. It takes place in the season change between fall and winter, and it has a real sort of dread underlying all of the episodes. I mean, it does have some funny stuff. Greg, the younger brother, has candy in his pants, and he throws candy trails, and he has a frog that he carries around with him, and he spends the entire series trying to come up with a name for the frog, and he calls him Kitty, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, what is the... Dr. Kumquat or something. Like, he comes up with all these bizarre names. So there's certainly some funny stuff in it, but there's also a dark, shadowy monster lurking behind the trees called the Beast, voiced by this bass opera singer. And every now and again, as the episode's about to close, you hear him singing, la 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 la, la 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 la, and it's just really bombastic, but also kind of frightening. Voice cast includes Elijah Wood.
Good.
Christopher Lloyd.
That's definitely good.
John Cleese and Tim Curry, both of whom voice women.
I can buy that.
Yeah, anyway. So it's not, like I say, strictly horror-themed or Halloween-themed from the get-go, but, you know, there's a lot of, like, things not being quite what they seem. The second episode takes place in a village where jack-o'-lanterns are walking around and throwing a harvest festival. The music is really kind of bizarre. The aesthetic of the show is set in this, like, late 19th, early 20th century. So the music is a lot of, like, ragtime to it. A lot of the cartoons feel like sort of the Silly Symphonies era, where the animation is very rubbery. And the fashion sense is very dated as well. Most of the characters are dressed up in, like, late 19th century, early 20th century clothing. So the creator of the show has his pedigree from Adventure Time. And I've often said that the best thing about Adventure Time is not Adventure Time itself, but it's all the shows that it sort of spawned. Adventure Time opened the door for something like Over the Garden Wall to exist. This is exactly the type of show that I want to be seeing from American animation, because for so long, American animation has been either the adult comedies, using scare quotes, like The Simpsons or Futurama or Family Guy, or that's been strictly for children fare.
Right.
But it's almost universally comedy. This is not a comedy, again, even though there is some funny stuff in it. It's dark, it's a little off-putting, it's really well animated, the music is very well thought out, really intricately crafted piece of media, and gonna be a Halloween tradition for me from here on out. It is that good, and I love it.
Awesome.
Sweet.
I'm always glad to know where the costumes come from for
Yeah.
ComicCon.
Yeah, that one
I
baffles
still
me.
don't know, like, the blue faces, the black hair, the orange and yellow antennas.
It's Homestuck!
I don't know what that is.
Neither do
It's
I!
a terrible community.
Is it anime?
No,
it's
a webcomic.
Sort of a
Oh.
webcomic.
It's a terrible webcomic.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a terrible webcomic. I've never
Sorry,
read
I
it.
didn't want to take away from Over the Garden Wall. Just
Homestuck fans are super
bothered
passionate.
me.
That was one that was bothering me to the
All
point where
over the
I
place.
asked someone what
Yeah.
they were, and it turns out that's a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Because they will tell you.
Oh my God. No, so I hate everything about Homestuck except the passion that they have to
Oh
their,
yeah,
to
good
their
for them.
media.
If you can make something that gives that kind of, like, cultivates that kind of passion
Also,
in people.
I'm not 12 years old, so please don't get angry at me when I ask you what the crap you are.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah.
Right.
Instead, take that opportunity to try to suck me into this
Yeah.
apparently
I'll convert you to my
Wonderland.
fandom.
Yeah,
Which Homestuck fans seem to be really into doing.
which they fail at. Time and time. But yeah, anyways. Oh my gosh, and we're back to me, but we're done because we've done 2 of our favorite Halloween things. I'm surprised nobody actually said, like, I mean, Emily and I kind of talked about it a bit, but nobody actually said Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, nobody actually claims that one.
I love that movie all the
I like
time.
the character design of it. I like the songs all right. I actually don't want to watch the movie when it comes up. You know, I love the character design of it, though, but I'd rather just, like, check out some drawings and hear,
I love
Yeah, it's almost a better visual
hear
than a
the
movie in a
soundtrack.
lot of
Yeah.
ways.
and hear the soundtrack.
And the soundtrack is good, and I love Jack Skellington's voice.
Danny
Did
Elfman.
you guys
Danny
ever listen
Elfman's
to
Yeah,
the,
the singing
Start.
voice, yeah.
Did you guys
I
ever
love
listen to
Danny
that
Elfman.
covers album they did? Of
No, I
Yes.
didn't know they did
Yes.
that.
It was fun.
That sounds pretty
There's
awesome.
a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, it's got, like, heavy metal
Marilyn
songs.
Manson.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Panic at
It's
the
got
Disco.
Marilyn,
Panic at the
Panic at the
Disco.
Disco,
But it also
Fall Out
has-
Boy, all that crap.
But it also has Rodrigo.
Oh, Fiona
Gabriela.
Apple does a really good cover of Sally's song, which is
Rodrigo
my
and
favorite.
Gabriela, they're a brother-sister duo from Mexico that do guitar, and they do Oogie Boogie song.
Yeah,
Oh,
And it
cool.
sounds
That
fantastic
would
the way they
sound
do it.
sounds pretty good.
It does. We'll listen to it after the podcast.
Turns out I'm not crazy. While I did not know that John Hurt was in Harry Potter, I did know that he was in this King Lear production that I saw. And I knew that the guy who's in King Lear was the guy who was in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I did not know that that was John
That was the
Hurt.
same person.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now. So we've completed a loop.
Circle made.
Man.
It's a full circle.
Yeah.
Very nice.
All right,
A few
I like
scenes in
circles.
the
That's a
first
good
movie.
shape.
Anyway.
So, should we talk about what's coming out in the month?
Yeah, so we've had actually quite a few games come out this month because this is the time of year where games come out. And
Imagine that.
So, with that, a couple of highlights. We have Rock Band 4, which, if you like the rock bands, this is apparently a good one. My problem with Rock Band 4 is that I owned Rock Bands 1 through 3 on the Wii, because that was my party system, and when they announced it for Xbox One and PS4, but not Wii U, that means that none of my stuff will transfer, so I don't get to keep any of my DLC, and I can't use my instruments, so that kind of made it so that I'm not interested in buying it, even
Yeah.
though it's been getting great reviews.
I, on the other hand, have everything for the PS3.
Well,
So-
isn't that just special?
Sounds like we should probably do a rock band night at some point when Aldo decides to buy something.
Also, Transformers Devastation.
Yes.
I have to give a shout out to because it's by Platinum Games, and I love Platinum Games.
And it looks fantastic.
And it's based off of the 80s cartoon
The
and not
G1
anything
Transformers.
modern.
You mean it doesn't have Megan Fox in it? I'm not interested. So
I mean, they lost me right there as a customer.
that was really sarcasm, you guys. I
Not
just
from
really
Aldo,
want you
it
to pick up.
Now, I'm generally against re-releases from, just the previous generation. However, this one I do have to say I love these games so much that it deserves another purchase, and that's Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection.
I would not agree with that. I think if you have a PS3, you're fine picking up just the regular trilogy. I don't think it's worth a remake.
However, if you sold your PS3 as part of getting your PS4,
Then you missed your chance. Now move on. Just kidding.
So vicious, my goodness.
No, just kidding. It's an excellent game. If you haven't played it, play it.
also Yoshi's Woolly World, which looks like the most adorably
It looks
cuddly
way
game.
cute.
I need that amiibo. I don't even have the game. I need that amiibo.
Oh, the amiibo for it is wonderful because it actually is
Yarn.
made of yarn. And
So
it's the
cute.
cutest thing ever. Since we're talking about Halloween stuff, and we actually mentioned that this came out, Fatal Frame, made in Blackwater.
Yeah, the game that is too big for many Wii U players to actually download. That cracks me up.
But I actually have set the free to play because you can play the first chapter, I think it is, for free.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like its demo. And so I actually have that right now upstairs on my Wii U. And I can't wait to have some time when the kids are asleep and my wife is okay with me playing games to actually try it out because I'm not going to play it in front of my kids.
No.
Oh,
No,
what?
no,
That's
no.
not a good game for kids?
I know.
I don't think
surprising.
there's a better
Weird.
game for kids. What are you going to
Almost
show
like,
them?
obviously.
What are you going to show them? Mario?
That's not family friendly at all.
Get outta here.
Have we mentioned Triforce Heroes? Because that came out.
It did.
Yes,
it did.
that was actually
That came
going to
out
be the next thing.
yesterday.
Yeah, Zelda Triforce Heroes, which I really want to try, but I'm not ready to buy another 3DS game yet.
Well, I hope you have exactly 2 friends when you want to play it.
I know, seriously. So basically, eventually, Aldo, Steven, and I can play it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking of upgrading to a new 3DS.
Ooh.
I love mine.
And that's just fancy.
Also,
I'm being church lady right now. I don't
Assassin's Creed Syndicate, because Ubisoft's going to Ubisoft.
I'm just happy they went back to single player.
Yeah.
Like strict single player. I like it.
So I'm a big fan of Telltale games. I love the stuff that they put out. And one of the best series that they put out in a while is Tales from the Borderlands, which finished up this month with episode 5. I definitely recommend going and giving it a shot. It's clever, it's fun. If you don't know who Telltale Games are, they're the ones who basically snatched up a lot of the old Lucas games rights, like Sam & Max. They made the new Sam & Max games. They also made the Walking Dead games, which are fantastic. And so this is kind of in the same style. It's funny. Definitely recommend it. And last but not least, unless you're like us, and as you know from our E3 podcast, we really don't care about the Xbox One, Halo 5.
If I had money, I would care.
Nah, I still
But
don't.
I've decided to not,
I just don't like paying $500 for a paperweight.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Strong words.
I bought an Xbox 360. It is the most expensive footstool I've ever purchased.
So here's my thing. I might have eventually gotten an Xbox One for really Halo 5, but they completely took out local multiplayer.
Yeah.
And a Halo game without local multiplayer is not a Halo game.
It's a game with toxic 12-year-olds.
Yeah, and
Like,
I do not want
seriously.
to.
My mother is a decent lady.
So, yeah.
Halo is why we need gun control.
Sorry.
12-year-olds are learning how to
So-
shoot each other and swear at each other.
I mentioned it a while back. I think most of us here love comic books.
To some extent or another,
To some
certainly.
Wait,
And
comic books? Wait,
What is this?
What?
The-
What are you
the-
saying right
they're
now?
books with pictures in them, guys.
Oh, so the monster on the other side of the page, or whatever that one was called?
The monster at the end of this
Yes.
book, Emily.
I'm sorry.
It's Grover.
What?
I'm sorry.
I don't even
Oh, sure, now you ruined the ending to the book for me.
Ah, spoiler alert for a 30-year-old children's book.
Now you're going to tell me what Harold does with his purple crayon.
He draws with it.
Anyway, so,
Ah.
so Secret Wars was kind of technically over last month. So October is the month of all new, all different Marvel. So if you've ever wanted to get into Marvel, that was an excellent time. If I might...
You won't recognize any of the characters from the movies
No.
because they're not the characters from the movies. But still,
If I might recommend some stuff, the new Iron Man is a fantastic entry point.
and he is still Tony Stark.
He is still Tony Stark.
Yes,
Doctor Strange, also magnificent.
he is
entry
still
point.
Benedict
movie.
Cumberbatch.
Yep. Excellent entry point if you're curious about him because the movie's coming up. It's kind of hard to recommend X-Men because there's like 7 X-Men titles right now. But if
You say that like that's somehow unusual.
Right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was reading all new X-Men, Astonishing X-Men, Wolverine and the X-Men,
I do recommend
and Uncanny X-Men altogether.
I do.
So you weren't reading X Factor or X Force?
No, I was.
But I would recommend Amazing X-Men, which I think should be coming out at the end of the month, which is a Old Man Logan with all new Jean Grey, who's from the past, so she's not technically all new.
So there's Jean Grey from the past and Wolverine from the future meeting in the present and having wacky hijinks?
Yes,
That's amazing.
that's actually yes.
And that's why you need a whole podcast to understand the X-Men.
This
Yeah.
is why there are 75 and counting episodes of Rachel and Miles.
Yeah.
And they're not going anywhere.
So guys, as a side note, from someone who is not into comic books at all, can you tell me why I should be excited for the two new TV series that were announced for X-Men?
Oh,
So
so there was the Hellfire Club and
Hellfire
Legion.
Club and Legion, yeah.
Legion. Oh, so Legion is Charles Xavier's son. He's a mutant, right? But what it is he has multiple personalities, and they all are in his head. And when they do it in the comic, it shows like, someone gets trapped in there, and it's like a crowded room full of people. Whoever is in control of Legion that's what powers he has. So his different personalities have different powers.
Okay.
He's a little crazy, he's a little unstable, and so...
He created the Age of Apocalypse universe, which is one of the 90s things to happen in the 90s.
I forgot about that.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for
It could go a lot of interesting directions.
And so,
I'm excited for that one because the showrunner for that is Noah Hawley, who the only things that he's done in the past have been Fargo, the Fargo TV series. He's the showrunner
It's in
for
good
that.
hands.
It's in good hands. That actually seems, having seen Fargo, that's actually a pretty good fit for the character of Legion.
and the Hellfire, what was it called?
Hellfire Club.
Okay, Hellfire. It's how do we?
It's so
the Hellfire Club
ideally it'd
is-
be like Mad Men with mutants.
Yes.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh! That's the
January
best elevator
Jones,
pitch.
but with no January Jones though.
Even better.
So the Hellfire Club is this evil organization of mutants, which is where you get.
They're not all mutants.
No, yeah, they're not all mutants.
No,
But most
Most of them are.
They are now,
It's
but they
now.
weren't when they were created.
So it's this organization. Well, and now it's ran by little kids. That last I heard of.
Yes.
It's like
this
that
is
secret
true.
society that Mike Myers' dad talks about. Well, everything in the world, including the papers, is controlled by a secret society in Colorado known as the Meadows. Who's in this that's what they're called, the Pentablet. So who's in this Pentablet? The Queen, the Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits up. The Colonel. The wee beady eyes and that smug look on his face. Oh, you're gonna buy my chicken. Oh. Dad, how can you hate the Colonel? Because he puts an addictive chemical in his chicken that makes you crave it fortnightly, smart Alex. So that secret society.
Yeah.
And the men all dress up in, like, Regency era costumes, and the women all dress up in BDSM gear.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Every day.
for kids.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyways,
It's kind of like they're all trying to like be the secret influence behind power. They're all really wealthy and
I would
naughty.
I would also recommend picking up Spider-Gwen, who has been rebooted. Picking up Miss Marvel, who has also been rebooted.
And is
Really?
still probably one of the most charming
It's
characters
still
in all of
it's
comics.
still Kamala Khan,
Yes.
right? Okay.
I
I mean, not to give away her secret identity or anything.
Squirrel Girl. Who are, honestly, I think 3 of the best Marvel books have like young teenage protagonists.
So
And
I have a
think
pitch to turn Professor X into a teenage girl. I'll tell you about it sometime.
I'm sold already.
Me too.
But if I were to recommend anything else, I would recommend Amazing Spider-Man, which continues Peter Parker's legacy as Spider-Man, and I believe it's just called Spider-Man.
Not the Amazing Spider-Man?
No, not Amazing Spider-Man.
It's just
So
Spider-Man?
be sure to tell this to your comic book guy that you're looking for Spider-Man, not Amazing Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is about Miles Morales' new life in the new universe. And if you really want to, you can pick up Spidey, which is all about Peter Parker in his teenage years.
We have enough of that already?
Not really, actually.
40
no.
years? No, not enough.
No, actually, most of I think about 90% of Spider-Man takes place after his teenage high school years.
No, the good stuff, though, all takes place in his high school
It
years.
does, though. But, yeah.
Do we want to do movies?
Yeah.
Because I got some movies.
There are some movies coming out.
I'm very excited because bought my tickets already. Best seats in the IMAX theater, all set, like the ones I wanted forever, and it finally worked out. And gonna go see Spectre. And I've only kind of watched the trailers for this one. I haven't studied them. I haven't like tried to figure it out because I don't want to ruin any surprises or anything. But the Eon Productions got the rights back to Spectre, which is the evil organization that James Bond would fight against in some of the old movies. So they're back the same day as when the Peanuts movie comes out.
Oh,
which
super cute.
I really want to see it. You know,
do it.
I feel like it's gonna make me so happy, and then I'll feel happy for like a week.
Because I think that they were able to like animate it in like a new way while also still like
Maintaining
giving it the kind of feel of the comic.
I think that the second that I hear ba-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da, that my heart will just
I was
melt.
watching like a behind the scenes trailer thing for Peanuts, and one of my favorite things they said is they spent like a month and a half or like 2 months like just watching Peanuts cartoons, trying to figure out how to emulate the animation style without it making it feel outdated or cheap.
Yeah. It's Blue Sky. They do good stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's fantastic.
also the same day that coming out, Bryan Cranston's in a movie called Trumbo. It's Jay Roach who directed the Austin Powers movies. This is his like drama debut, I guess.
Interesting.
But Dalton Trumbo was a Hollywood writer who was on the blacklist, and they suspected him of being a communist, so he was blacklisted for years and had to write his screenplays in secret and did a lot of really great work. And I think it'll be a really interesting movie, so that's coming out that same day.
I saw the trailer for that and was like, wow, this is great. Gary Oldman's in a new movie. And then it was Bryan Cranston.
He does like Gary
Bryan
Oldman.
He
Cranston
really
with
does in that
glasses
trailer.
and a mustache.
Right.
And, when it's not Walter White glasses and mustache.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff. November 20th is Hunger Games, of course.
Right.
Mockingjay Part 2. I'm actually excited. November 25th, Creed. It's another...
Yes.
Can you take me higher?
How dare you?
Oh my gosh.
I honestly
There's
just
nothing
want
wrong
the
with
final
Creed.
boxing match to have that song.
I will projectile vomit like chunks all over everyone in the theater.
That song to be the training montage song.
So the son of Apollo Creed, Michael B. Jordan, it's another Rocky movie. And I think the trailer looks good. This will be another movie that Brady has not seen, because let's hear it. How many Rocky movies have you seen, Brady?
I have never seen a Rocky.
Now,
What?
how many movies do you pretend to have seen, Brady?
All of them.
What?
Hold on. Now, watch. You can test him on it. Who did he fight in Rocky 3?
Wait. Let me see.
Mr. T.
Yeah, wait. Yeah. Rocky 3 was Mr. T.
That's right.
Rocky 4 was the Russian.
He fought communism.
Rocky
I haven't
5,
seen
what he
Never
fought
happened.
his son's robot.
I have never seen a Rocky movie either.
What? You have to watch the first
Yeah,
one.
the first two I really liked.
have to.
The first one especially.
I've seen Karate Kid. Does that count?
No.
I've actually
No.
heard
Doesn't count.
I've actually heard good things about the newest Rocky movie.
I didn't like it so much. It wasn't bad, but I also
I
like.
really liked it, but I think it really relies on you having already a connection.
And that's the thing. Like I hadn't seen
background.
all of the rest of them like all the way through. This year was the first year that I watched 1 and 2 all the way through.
Really?
Yeah.
I knew what happened.
I watched
Right.
Because I'd seen 3. Like 3, they just like had on repeat for years.
Right.
Mr. T. I don't believe Rocky 3 because I think Mr. T would win in any
I
fight.
don't.
The same. Oh, go ahead.
I'm a solid believer of the Church of Stallone.
Well,
But every
I think it'll be good.
Practitioner.
every other year I watch the entire
Yeah.
anthology. So
The Church of
also-
Stallone, I just imagine like their big now let us pray.
It's very primal. It's a very ancient.
Poor Sylvester Stallone. He looks like a melting wax figure.
well,
now.
half his his left side.
Well,
of his
yeah,
face
he
is
has Bell's
paralyzed.
palsy.
Did you guys
That's terrible.
Did you
Oh.
guys see that interview in 1994 with Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Bruce Willis? What's hilarious about that is one of those 3 men gives intelligent answers. It isn't Schwarzenegger or Willis.
Well, here's
No joke. Sylvester Stallone in real life writes poetry, paints,
He wrote the Rocky.
Well,
dude. Yeah, he wrote, directed, and he had all the rights.
and Rambo, and all these movies, and he's incredibly intelligent, and he doesn't
you
speak
wouldn't know
like
it.
that in real life. He speaks like a normal human being.
People don't understand that Stallone is actually quite a. I don't want to call him a genius, but he's actually a really smart businessman when it comes.
Of course,
to
he's the Expendables. Yeah,
Stallone looked at all like the Taken movies, and he's like an old guy doing actiony stuff.
I can do that.
I got 8 of them.
So we'd like to thank you all for listening to Reviews versus Sylvester Stallone.
The Good Dinosaur.
That's not a nice name to call Mr. Stallone.
Oh, jeez. Rocky's gonna beat me up. That comes out the same day. If you don't want to watch Creed, the movie, then go see The Good Dinosaur, which is Pixar's second movie this year. Yeah. That's all for November.
I'm dying.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Aldo died. So I guess I'll end the podcast then.
With
because
arms wide
Aldo is
open.
dead.
Aldo is.
Hold me now. I'm 6 feet from the edge and I'm sinking.
Anyways,
I
ladies
could
and
sing
gentlemen,
Creed all day.
I only know the 3 songs.
I'd like to thank you very much for listening to Reviews versus the podcast and putting up with our renditions of Creed songs.
Who am I? Who am I?
Oh, Creed!
John is back.
We hope you join us next month when we come back with Reviews versus the podcast. Have a good night.
Love you.